All right, I'm Kurt Steinberg. I'm president of Montserrat College of Art, and we're here for another conversation. We're here with John Thompson, a printmaker and living in Massachusetts. And we're so glad that you could be part of this today. Again, we're talking about process and practice. And specifically, recently our conversations have been centering around how the COVID-19 pandemic and specifically the quarantine, and that may have affected or not affected, depends on your approach as an artist, whether it be your creative ideas or outlet that may have been modified, or in general, just how your process itself has been affected. And just want to find out your initial thoughts in regards to you as an artist and how you've sort of responded to this situation.
Such a good long question, and it's so complicated. The whole art world is turned upside down. I have a show up down in Connecticut and co-curated another show, monotype show, down at the Washington Art Association in Connecticut. And those shows opened for 2 weeks and 1 week before things closed down. And my involvement with nonprofits and the arts community and teaching and so on has carried me through the demands from teaching and trying to do things online. Has been an interesting challenge, not one that I particularly like. Not having a printing press with you is not much fun, and I think for our students, it's a real trial. Interesting. I'll talk about students for a minute. The students I really found for a while just flummoxed. They were home. They didn't have the tools and materials. They're living back with siblings, sharing rooms, kind of thing, not having a good workspace. And I was really worried about their mental health for a while. But the last couple of weeks, I've really seen kind of a change that the kids have realized or figured out that they're in this for a while or the longer term, and they've really kicked in. And I have to say, my students have put me to shame because they made some really fabulous stuff and so timely and so reactive to what's going on. I'm finding this different for myself. I've really sort of cocooned, and I'm trying to get through things, and I'm trying to work on it. I find the whole situation a little overwhelming. I usually can come in and make things and feel pretty good about what I'm doing and so on. I'm finding I'm doing things that don't produce immediate results, so I can sort of hide behind the activity. So I'm doing things like carving wood blocks, big wood blocks, carving, doing a lot of cleaning and picking up in my studio that's kind of random, sorting through drawers and files and stuff. But the actual art making I've had struggles with. I will say that I'm very fortunate in that I have a backlog or a series of commissions that I'm working on. And people are finally starting to call me up and say, hey buddy, we haven't heard from you in a while. Are you really still an artist? You really still making something? You gonna finish this? So that's helping me. It's spurring me on. It's like, oh my God, I gotta get the paints out. I gotta get working here. So it's a complicated answer, and I think it's really all over the place.
Yeah.
I think for those of us who carry responsibility for institutions or families, it's a different kind of challenge because our minds are wrapped up around that concern. Problems with international students, for example, they're big issues. And I'm concerned, and I'm also concerned for the health and well-being of so many. So obviously, some of us are well off and can weather the storm. I don't have to worry about paying my rent next month or that kind of thing in a desperate way.
Yep.
But so much of our economy is so gig oriented, and the arts and the artists, the art handlers, the studio assistants, the tutors, the technicians, it's just It slams so many that I'm aware of, and I'm concerned about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think going into the fall, that's the big question mark, right? Is because none of us know what it looks like. And it's one thing to be in an emergency response, right? But then we've gotten beyond that emergency response. And now I think people are starting to take stock in what just happened. And I know for me, in some of the conversations we've had, the idea of the fall being similar is a little daunting. And and it's like watching a slow train coming at you instead of this immediate thing that happened, and you just had to solve the problem, right?
Right. Well, and Kurt, I think for someone as creative as you are and heading an institution like Montserrat, I'm really confident. I was part of an interesting conversation the other day about how the nimble institutions who recognize that this is the opportunity to make some changes
Mm-hmm.
that may have been put off for other reasons or difficult. This is a great time to take an opportunity to do that,
Yeah.
and really do some forward thinking. And for the first time, I felt really hopeful. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know we'll get out of this. We've been through the
Right.
Spanish flu, World War II, Great Depression. Yeah, I mean, the plague, the world survives.
Yeah. Right.
The too shall pass.
Yeah.
But what a drag.
Yeah, no, it's not fun. I have to say, just and you and I haven't talked about this, but I was not amazed. That's not the real word in this case, but I just really grateful, let's say, for the faculty response we had at Montserrat. It just really was amazing, and the student response. I think the comment you made in your answer just now resonates with me, because we had similar thing, and in fact, we had our last faculty meeting just yesterday, and one of the things that came up was just the number of faculty members that were just ready for the work to be less, and actually got incredibly good work, and the creativity of the making that was going on, like just the process, like they didn't have their stuff, but they came up with other ways to make it happen. You would know from a printmaking standpoint, it's like you said, it's not like they have a press in their basement, if they even have a basement, and but they come up with other ways to do it. It's not perfect, but at least the creativity portion of it, the learning of how the idea matures and gets executed, is still a part of the conversation, which I think is important. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, and I feel that, Kurt, one of the things, as you having children and knowing their friends and working with students, I have a lot of hope for this next generation. I mean, my generation's kind of messed this up with, we won't go into all the politics here, but we could have done better, guys. And I'm really hopeful. I see the creativity and the self-reliance and and I think the seriousness, the way the kids really take on a responsibility for each other in the world, I think stands as well. It's not going to be easy. There's a lot going on out there,
Yeah.
but and it's going to take a few years now, but see where we get to.
Yeah, I'm hopeful, and with that, I think we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank you so much, John, for participating in this, and I think it's important for these conversations to be had, and to have the kind of reflection you just had get out there. So I know my students are going to be really appreciative to hear about it, as well as others that are part of the Montserrat community. So really, thank you very much for your time today, and I appreciate it.
I look forward to a visit back on campus and interacting with the students. So let me know when and how, and I'll be there.
You got it. Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. You got it.
Well.